Hey guys, it's me King Diablo, and in today's video I'll give you a full detailed review on the skills for the new wizard class. So this is the first and a very important skill for this class. This skill is called Wise Man's Memory and it has super armor and knockback on first hit. This is a really unique skill because this skill basically has a base attack which looks like this and it can be used for the first time, but once you use any other skill then you can't use the base form of this skill anymore. The skill will change to a skill that you used previously before using the skill. But the unique part about this skill is that if you are using any non-super armor skill and then you use the skill to copy that non-super armor skill, then this skill will give that non-super armor skill a super armor effect. So basically if you use a non-super armor or any non-immunity skill and then use this skill will basically copy that whole skill with its all CCs, but it will give it a super armor immunity. But remember that the crowd control effect which is knockback on the skill does not carry over when you copy other skills. This skill will copy the crowd control effect of the previously used skill too. This skill has 3 flows. The first one increases the range of this skill, the second one reduces enemy attack speed, and the third one increases the number of hits of this skill. The base form of this skill is a close range skill, but the range of the skill changes too with the skills that you copy. The passive skill effect for wizard class is also connected to this skill, which I will explain later on in this video, and the passive skill effects are really good. But also if you are using this skill to copy the window of lightning skill, which basically have 2 parts, it will only copy the first part of that skill and not the second part. This is the second skill for wizard class, and this skill is called ground response. This skill has super armor, but it's not applied in arena and it does knock back on hit. This skill has 2 flows. The first one recovers your health points and the second one reduces enemy movement speed. The range of this skill is somewhere in between close to mid range and can be used for both PvE and PvP. This is the third skill for wizard class, and this is my favorite skill out of all the classes in BDM I've played so far. This skill is called lightning storm and it has super armor, but it's not applied in arena. It does knock back on first and last hit. This skill basically showers lightning on your opponents, and if you keep the skill icon pressed, it will consume mana and constantly deal damage to your enemies with the lightning. This skill has 2 flows. The first one reduces the mana consumption for the skill and the second one increases your attack power. This skill deals really high damage and is a long range skill, and when combined with the Wise Man's Memory skill, it becomes even better to use inside arena. This is the fourth skill for wizard class. This skill is called Earth's Call and it has super armor and does knock up on hit. This is a close range skill, but before doing the close range attack, it teleports towards your opponent for a certain distance. This skill has two flows. The first one inflicts bleed on enemy and the second one increases your defense. This is a decent skill to use for PvP and might as well be useful for boss rushes. This is the fifth skill for wizard class and it's called current wave. This skill has invincibility while moving and super armor while attacking, but these super armor and invincibility effects are not applied in arena. This skill does knockdown on first hit and last hit. This skill has two flows. The first one increases your critical hit chance and the second one reduces enemy defense. This is a good skill for using for PvP, but I won't suggest using it for PvE farming, but it's a good skill to use for boss rushes too. This is the sixth skill for wizard class and it's called current cohesion. This skill does knockback on first hit and stun on last hit. Also, when you use this skill after using the lightning storm and current wave skill, it does knockback and instantly deals the full damage of the skill. It also cancels those two skills instantly. This skill has three flows. The first one reduces enemy attack power, the second one reduces the mana consumption of the skill, and the third one inflicts burn on enemy. It's a medium range skill and can be used for both mass PvP and PvE. This is the seventh skill for wizard class and it's called ground collapse. This skill has forward guard and rear super armor, but it's not applied in arena and it does daze on hit. This skill has two flows. The first one increases your defense and the second one reduces the cooldown time of this skill. The range of the skill isn't that long, but the area of effect of this skill is huge and also the damage is really good. This skill can be used in both PvP and PvE. This is the 8th skill for wizard class and it's called space travel. This skill has invincibility and it consumes 50 mana points to move for additional distance. This is basically the gap creating or gap closing skill for this class. It can be used to move away from an enemy or getting close towards them. This skill has three flows. The first one increases movement speed, the second one increases your defense, and the third one reduces the cooldown time of the skill. This skill deals damage on your enemies too. It's a really good skill to be used in PvP. This is the 9th skill for Wizard class. This skill is called Earthquake and it has super armor, but it's not applied in arena. This skill does knock down on hit. Also, when you use this skill, the area where the skill hits creates an AoE effect which lasts for 4 seconds and deals 100% skill damage every second for 4 seconds. This skill has 3 flows. The first one reduces enemy movement speed, the second one inflicts bleed on your enemy, and the third one increases the maximum number of uses of the skill. This skill is also a really high damage skill, so it's really good for using in both PvP and PvE. This is the 10th skill for Wizard class and it's called Window of Lightning. This skill basically has two parts. So first time when you use this skill, it summons a lightning cloud on your opponent for 12 seconds that deals continuous damage for 12 seconds. So after you use the skill once, it will let you press it again, and that will create a huge area of effect lightning strike that deals 7 hits on your opponent, but this will remove the lightning cloud. So basically you can either choose to keep the lightning cloud on your opponent for 12 seconds which will continuously deal damage for 12 seconds, or you can choose to press the skill second time and deal the huge area of effect to take down more opponents. This skill has two flows. The first one increases the critical hit chance of the skill, and the second one reduces the cooldown time of the skill. It's a really good skill to use for mass PvP and PvE. This is the 11th skill for Wizard class and it's called Palace of the Elements. This is the basic buff skill for Wizard class. This skill has two flows. The first one increases the critical hit damage and the second one increases Black Spirit skill damage. Now let's see the passive skill for Wizard class. So the passive skill for Wizard class is called Elemental Flow. So basically when you use any skill, it will stack one elemental flow which will stack up to maximum of 5 times. Also when you use any skill, it will recover the cooldown time of the Wise Man's Memory skill by 1 second. So now when you have the elemental flow stacked up, even if you do not stack it to max, you will get certain buffs. So when you have stacked up elemental flow and you use the Wise Man's Memory skill, it will increase your damage to monsters and other players by 10% for 15 seconds. Also it will reduce the damage you receive from other players by 5% and an additional 2% for each stacks of elemental flow. So basically if you have all 5 stacks of elemental flow and you use the Wise Man's Memory skill, it gives you 5% plus 10% of damage reduction from other players. So a total of 15% damage reduction from other players for 15 seconds. You also get 15% times the number of stacks you have in damage increase to all your scales for 15 seconds. So if you have all 5 stacks, you get a total of 75% damage increase for all your scales, which will last for 15 seconds. Also the passive skill gives you 2.5 seconds of super armor and recovers 50 mana points. These passive skill buffs gives you a really good damage increase and damage reduction effects for Wizard class, and not to mention that you can keep spamming the Wise Man's Memory skill and keep getting these effects. If you are in mass PvP, you can just keep spamming skills and make these buffs last permanently. I personally love this class for both PvE and PvP. Also, if you want to check out the PvP and PvE tests for this class, I have already uploaded those videos on my channel. You can check there. Now let's see the dodge animation for wizard class. Now let's see the black spirit skills for wizard class. So that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. And if you want to further support the channel, you can donate to my PayPal account. The account link is in the description below. I'll see you in the next video.